on the Ant-Man channel on this 14th day of February, which happens to be a Thursday, 2013. This is my last article for the morning. I'm going to read it in about a second. My entire day has been a whole lot of social engineering and how Obama wants to destroy the middle class and how pretty much little kids are being taught things that I didn't know until I was about 16 years old. Little kids know more about sex than I do, somehow. Because, I mean, it's all about the media. Everybody pays attention to the pervert media these days, so what do you expect your kids to know? I mean, there's actually a study that tells you that little kids know more about sex than adults did back in the mid 70s or something like that. Like little kids know more about sex nowadays than people that are older than me did generations ago. I mean, this is how far gone we have gone to the pervert mentality of not giving. I mean, you're either a pervert or you're someone who you focus your energy on good things, man. But there is a fine line. There is no shade of gray. There is only serving evil and there is only serving good. And ultimately you have to ask yourself, what do I do? What do I serve? And yeah, believe me, when you're a good person it feels corny. It feels like because we're not good people. We're only good people if you're born again Christian, I believe. I believe you're only a good person if you're looking at God, man. If you're not looking at God, you're not a good person, man. You can't be a good person unless you are drawing from the living waters of the true good one. But that is the false paradigm of the whole Republican Democrat thing altogether, is that we believe that we can just justify whatever we do nowadays by just some type of this is a philosophy I had at a very young age, is that you can either read the Bible and then say, I'm going to change my life so that I can become more like this and live my life right and let God work and get on the path that God wants me to be on, or I can do everything my way and then justify everything that I do wrong. And then if you want me to use some examples, that's how the gays are. They hate and they target on the Christianity and the Bible because that's where they get all their guilt from. They have guilt in their hearts because they know they're perverts. And you know what? I'm not for all this equality anymore because you guys are attacking me now. You guys are trying to cross my line now. So I'm gonna expose you. Because before I'd be like, yeah, I'm tolerant. I don't really care who's gay and who's not. I really don't give a crap about all that. But when you're trying to cross my line and you're trying to get all these pedophile Boy Scout leaders to show our children sex tricks and all this stuff, you guys are crossing my line now, and I have to expose you. So, WND Politics, did Obama hint at healthcare rationing in SOTU? Foundations quietly laid for massive government intervention by Aaron Klein. Yeah, Obama is pretty much everybody's starting to wake up. Everybody's starting to see that the guy does not do anything he says he's going to do. But the people who don't really pay attention to politics have this star power. They're in a trance. They think that he's some kind of celebrity and that he's a good person. Anyway, did President Obama hint at healthcare rationing in last year's State of the Union address? In his speech, Obama listed healthcare reform as a key in reducing long-term government debt, specifically referring to the rising cost of healthcare for an aging population. And those of us who can care deeply about programs like Medicare must embrace the need for modest reforms, he said. Obama said he will work to reduce taxpayer subsidies and to prescription drug companies and ask more from the wealthiest seniors. Man, I mean, these guys are absolutely, they think you're so stupid. And the sad thing is they're right, man. You are that stupid. They lie to you in the most transparent ways. The only way Obama is transparent is by seeing how full of crap he is. I mean, it's hilarious. We'll bring down costs by changing the way our government pays for Medicare because our medical bills shouldn't be based on the number of tests ordered of days spent in the hospital, he said. They should be based on the quality of care that our seniors receive. Obama's comments about quality of care deserve careful consideration in light of largely overlooked sections of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, commonly called Obamacare. Those sections reviewed in full by WND may lay the foundations for healthcare rationing and even so-called death panels. I've heard about death panels, but I'm not sure what they are. I've never looked into this. I don't know what death panels is, but just by the name death panel, it doesn't sound like something that's positive. It sounds like one of those like, yeah, like killing yourself is okay, pulling the plug on your relatives is okay. You know, if you can't afford medical care for your parents, just pull the plug, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Just like there's nothing wrong with killing unborn babies, you know. There is also concern for preferential treatment based on race, ethnicity, and so-called life preferences. Obamacare called for the establishment of a patient-centered outcomes research institute. Obama's comments. There is a video here if you want to go look at it. Is did Obama hint at healthcare rationing? And so too, WND.com. The new institute proposes to is to carry out comparative clinical effectiveness research, which is defined in the law as evaluating and comparing health outcomes and clinical effectiveness, risks and benefits of two or more medical treatments or services. The purpose of the research is purportedly for the government to determine which treatments work best so that money is not spent on less effective treatments. Such research has already previously funded $1.1 billion, in Obama's 2009 stimulus package. The legislation first created a federal coordinating council for comparative effectiveness research. Obamacare now allows for about $3.8 billion in additional funding for effectiveness research with the establishment of the new Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute. The institute is to be governed by a board to assist in identifying research priorities and establishing the research project agenda. Agenda 21, also weighing in to be an expert advisory panel or practicing and research clinicians, patients and experts in scientific and health services, research and health services delivery. A section of Obamacare makes clear the Secretary of Health and Human Services may not use research data from the new institute in a manner that threats the life of an elderly, disabled, or terminally ill individual as lower in value than that of an individual who is younger, non-disabled, or not terminally ill. However, the dictate comes with a qualifier some many find troubling. Obamacare contains largely unreported text that allows the health secretary to limit any alternative treatments of the elderly, disabled, or terminally ill if such treatments are not recommended by the new research institute. The qualifier says paragraph 1 shall not be construed as preventing the secretary from using evidence or finding from such comparative clinical effectiveness research in determining coverage, reimbursement, or incentive programs under Title this looks like Title 18, based upon a comparison of the difference in effectiveness of alternative treatments in extending an individual's life due to the individual's age, disability, or terminal illness. Paragraph 1 refers to the section that bars the health secretary from valuing the life of an elderly, disabled, or terminally ill patient as lower than that of the younger or non-disabled patient. The qualifier leaves the health secretary with the power to use government-provided research data to determine whether alternative treatments are effective in extending the life of the elderly, disabled, or terminally ill. Healthcare rationing based on ethnicity. Another section of Obamacare calls for the new institute to study the effectiveness of treatment in subpopulations, including racial and ethnic minorities, women, age, and groups of individuals with different comorbidities, genetic and molecular subtypes, and quality of life preferences. The effectiveness of such research has been widely called into question. In 2009 study, the CATO Institute raised concerns about such government-funded research being politicized or influenced by lobbying. Well, this falls into the category of stuff that a lot of people don't know about, like how there are women on the front lines of the army, the front lines of like the military. The women get to run in front now, like the men. Well, just to point out a couple of obvious things about women being in the front line, women are generally not as strong as men. That is just a fact. A woman would get absolutely wrecked in the front lines. Another thing that comes in to mind is the social capabilities. Like, if there's women and men in the front lines, there's going to be relationships going on. The women are going to start distracting the men. There's going to be all kinds of things to take into consideration that are going to... If you think that the president cares about the military, think again. They don't even hire people that are really, like, you know, very empowered, strong killers, man. They want wimpy little if you ever seen the movie Jarhead, the guy that's sitting in the back and that's punking that other guy, just acting like an absolute piece of crap. That's the kind of people they want. They want people who know that think they're tough guys and that just run out there, I'm a commando, and then just get blasted on. That's why there's 22 military men that commit suicide every day. Why? Because what? They cut their breakfast. They don't even get breakfast anymore nowadays. They're eating crap. They're sleeping in tents. They're serving 7, 8, 9 tours in other countries. And that's all. The government is just killing us left and right. They're killing everyone, and then they pretend that they care about the military by putting on these like shows, giving away the Medal of Honor to people and stuff like that. They don't care about the military. They're trying to destroy us, like in every way, shape, and form. That's why they're just weakening our military. They're cutting spending on our military. It doesn't make any sense. Unlike marketed generated research, a federal comparative effectiveness agency would be subject to political manipulation, which could block the generation of any useful research, wrote Cato. Continued Cato, such research necessarily poses a direct threat to the incomes of pharmaceutical manufacturers, medical device manufacturers, and millions of providers. If a government agency produces unwelcome research, those groups will spend vast sums on lobbying campaigns and political contributions to discredit or defund the agency. During the stimulus debate, Senator John Kill, a Republican of Arizona, fought the $1.1 billion spending on effectiveness research, spotlighting the experience of countries such as the UK as cautionary tales. Think about this a moment, Kill told the Senate. Do you want Washington bureaucrats such as those who brought you the age mess, AIG, making your healthcare decisions for you and your family? Currently in the UK, the equivalent to Obamacare's institute is the National Institute for Health and Clinical Excellence, or NICE. The New England Journal of Medicine related that NICE considers treatments cost-effective, and their cost-effectiveness ratio is 2,000 euros, or 20,000 euros, which is $34,000 per QALY, quality adjusted life year. A quality adjusted life year is an extra year of quality life expectancy based on the treatment. There were recent reports that NICE was refusing to fund your New treatments. New Testament, so thinking about the Bible now. Fund 4 new treatments for kidney cancer because they're only change in patients' life expectancy for 6 months to a year. Andrew Dillon, NICE chief executive, commented on the denial of one drug for kidney cancer. Before we recommend any treatment, any new one, we have to be sure the evidence on how well it works is robust and that it is cost effective. We do not want to divert NHS funds to a treatment that costs more but doesn't help people live longer. Writing in Forbes last month, Sally Pipes, president of the Pacific Research Institute, slammed effectiveness research under Obamacare as a recipe for cookbook medicine, where the government can pressure doctors into prescribing treatments according to average results, rather than an individual patient's need and preferences. Well, what's the difference? They're just trying to get legal bills passed so that they can just get away with what they're already doing. They're already doing that. A doctor is the biggest, in my opinion, a doctor with a PhD is the biggest moron puppet in the general public. I mean, everybody worships the doctor like he's like God, like he's like this well of wisdom. No, a doctor is a freaking moron that is absolutely bought off by Big Pharma. He's going to pretend to look at you and take your pulse and listen to your heart and listen to your lung sounds, and then he's going to come back with a giant pill a giant freaking thing of these, what do you call these? These tubes full of pills so that he can get you hooked on them. I had a friend that absolutely ate crap skateboarding the other day. He fractured his skull and everything. And he went to the doctor, and then he got these pills, and he was like, oh, thank you, doctor. You know, like, it's cute. No, dummy. You better hope you don't get hooked on that stuff now that you've freaking cracked your skull open. I mean, the doctor, when you must have walked in, the doctor must have been licking his lips. Like, I'm going to get you hooked on these pills so that you have to come back to me. I'm going to make you hang on by a thread. You don't know what I got planned for you. You think I care about you? You're making me money. You're my food. Pretty much that's the way that they think about you. The corporate establishment does not care about you. They never will. They have a plan to absolutely bankrupt you and make you, come to the mercy of them. they're incrementally introducing martial law. They're incrementally going against anyone who is not going along with this. And so we are in a type of Nazi Germany where everybody thinks it's cute to serve the government, which is absolutely tyrannical and is going to absolutely want us all murdered in the end. But what do I know? I just read the news. Anyways, come back later. I might have some more articles for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy your day. Have a God blessed day. Have a lot of peace and happiness and all that stuff. You guys remember, part of fighting this is also fighting for your own your own mind and your own pretty much you don't want to be focused on the mainstream news too much, because you want to be a free thinker. You want to be able to dissect this news for yourself. You don't want to hear it from a liberal leftist lens where like CNN is reporting, oh yeah, they weren't saying burn down the house. No. But then when you listen to the recordings, you could clearly hear the police officer saying, burn him in, block him in and burn it. Yeah, we got Judge Dredd type police officers in this world today, where they think that, hey, why should we arrest him if he's just making us mad and making us run around and waste our time? Why don't we just kill him? It'll be way easier. We don't have to go to court. We don't have to do all this other stuff. We could just murder people now. This is the type of dystopic 1984 future that we have already right now, where the cops think they're Judge Dredd, they think they're